Welcome back to Daily Dive. Dude, I have to admit, I noticed you put a space between anything and lax. I'm kind of upset at myself now.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I've got a wife and a daughter, so I've been called worse than anything you're going to call me, buddy.
Okay, frick. I like that. I try to build a little mini bio for you. We can change that next time you come on the show. I got NLL fan, which I think applies. Lots of TikTok followers, and you're building a Discord. And let's do the Discord thing first, Jacob.
Sure.
We're calling you Anything Lax for Jacob today.
Yeah, whatever. Honestly, whatever. Jake, Jacob, anything Lax, whatever really you want to call me. Jake's fine, honestly.
All right, Jake. So, question. I know that the Discord has been a recent thing that you're really hyping up. One of the things you're doing is a jersey giveaway. Go ahead and touch on the Discord, hype it up for me, and talk about the giveaway you're doing too.
Yeah, so basically what originally I started on TikTok, and what happened was last year during the All-Star break of hockey, there was nothing else to watch on. So I turned on a Buffalo Bandits Toronto Rock game, and I fell absolutely in love with that game. Like that game, honestly, I think it was just a perfect storm because that game was so back and forth, right to the end, all that stuff, right there. And then I started consuming, and obviously the sport's just amazing. So I went online or went on TikTok and seeing nobody was doing content for the NLL or like maybe super sporadically, but nothing was on there. So
especially
I was like,
on TikTok,
yeah. So basically, I was like, you know what? If it's not here, I believe if it's not there, you have to build it. So I was like, screw it, I'll just start doing TikTok. I was doing TikTok sporadically. Then in August, I finally was just like, you know what? I'm gonna really go hard on this. And so since the middle of August, I put out 2 TikToks, 2 or 3 TikToks a day, minimum 2 though every day. And it's really just the consistency has really helped me grow. And then I basically was like, well, I started posting on X. Luckily, Dawson kind of seen one of my posts and then shared it. And then it just kind of went from there. Then I noticed there's nowhere for like fans to chirp in this, in this community. So again, I was like, well, let's see if we can throw a Discord together because I couldn't find anything I could join. And then here we are, right? So now I've got I think we're up to like 80 members.
I was going to ask, 80? Good Lord, there you go.
Yeah. And I think I started about 3 weeks ago or something, 3.5 weeks ago. So
not bad, no.
Yeah.
So how nasty does that, like, do we try to police the thing, or like everyone usually pretty respectful? I feel like that can get a little, I know the season hasn't started yet, but I feel like we're going to have to police that, right?
Yeah, so basically, we'll look into that as a problem arises, I guess. Sure. I mean, I've got a couple guys in there that are pretty good. I could care less what you say to me. You could call me the worst names in the world. I could care less. Go nuts. What I'm trying to aim and build here is something that's, you want to stick to lacrosse. You want to tell somebody their team's absolute dog shit. That's completely fine. But the second you get into personal attacks and you go to you have people that go to people's profile, like pull their pictures and stuff and like that, you'll be gone super fast in my Discord if you do that.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll be honest. Like I told people before, when you get a quote from Kevin Durant and his entire fan base attacks you, the profile picture, oh my, better watch out. I also, speaking of profile pictures, the logo is sweet. I don't know how much of that was your idea. I know you said some local designer helped you out. How much of that was your idea? Because I think it's sweet, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Actually, to be honest with you, I find it funny. Like everything, I'm kind of teaching myself as I go, right? So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of, and that's the other thing that I'm trying to build. Like if you go back and watch my first podcast, it's done completely on my phone. Yep. I just got a laptop now, like a MacBook. I've got a mic, a proper mic. I've got the earbuds now. So I'm trying to slowly keep building. I've got the ring lights and all that stuff. So I keep basically adding to it as I go. But I want to kind of show people that you don't need all this fancy stuff. You can just go get on, start talking, and build yourself up, right? So the logo, I actually just legit, man, AI, and I just screwed around with it for about 3 weeks and just kept tweaking it. And basically that's kind of how it was built. And then I just found this one. My biggest thing is my kid is really into hockey, obviously, as well as lacrosse. There's a brand called Hockey Benders, and they do everything very vibrantly. So that's kind of what I was like, kind of use that as my inspiration a little bit.
There you go. What? I mean, that's, like I said, it's a sweet logo. It's captivating. Like the vibrant colors help that. Circling back to your Discord real quick, you're doing a giveaway, right? A jersey giveaway.
Yeah.
I mean,
So basically, what happens is every time everybody in the Discord gets a ballot automatically, and then I've got a channel in there that when somebody comes in, if they tag you, that's an extra ballot towards you as well. So the more people you bring in, the more ballots you get. And there's, like I said, there's only 80 people. Really, I don't even think a lot of people have commented in that thing yet. So I'm gonna kind of get on them before it happens. But there might only be a couple hundred people really in this, so there's a good chance you could actually win a jersey. And I'm doing any jersey, any player. I'm just going to basically, whoever wins, they'll message me, we'll figure it out, and I'll just order it right there and just send it off to them.
I made a tweet, I believe, like early this morning, like late last night. I noticed that the Oshawa Firewolves are now 16 days away from their opening game and no Oshawa merch. Although, according to Commissioner McBroom, there's an OECD and says they're doing a league-wide merch store before the season. I'm like, well, it's time to lock in, boys, because I think it'll help you with the giveaway. Because it's so hard to find merchandise. Holy cow!
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I find too. It's really hard. Yeah, it's hard to find merchandise. The NLL site sucks. And I mean, I'll be one of the first one to tell you that. For stats, it's not updated. For merch. The Panther City's still on there. I think the Riptide's still on there. I understand I've listened to the interview with thru. I really like the guy. I think he's the best thing for this league that we could have. Wow. But they definitely got to get somebody in there to do it. And so I hope that gets fixed.
Did you ever choose a favorite NLL team? I know you were having that little thing on your comments too.
Yeah, so I'm kind of it's funny. So when I started a little series that if teams would comment, and then I added, if you could get a player to comment or add me or whatever. So essentially, it came down to 4 teams. I had the Georgia Swarm comment on one of my TikToks. I had Toronto Rock actually follow me. They've been in my live and all that stuff on TikTok. I had Vancouver Connor O'Toole. He follows me on there as well. Really nice kid. I talked to him a little bit. And then Tyson Bell also follows me. I message with him, on a semi-regular basis. He's a really cool guy.
I agree.
And so between those 4 teams, and then I dropped it down to Halifax and Toronto, I thought, let's leave it down to the game between those 2. I also have said if somebody really captivates my attention, like Oshawa, I really like Ottawa. There's a couple teams that really are pulling me in. The Oshawa story, obviously Albany last season, but almost making the playoffs, going back-to-back games with San Diego, losing that second game. That really captivated me. I'm all about storylines, and I think that's how we sell the game. So, and then there's another part of me that just kind of wants to stay neutral as well, right? So
it's hard, but I try to low-key support the Swarm being 4 hours away, closest team to me, but once you do the more media stuff, it's like you learn to love every team and every player. It's so hard, like you said.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And as I get older, I also enjoy watching players more than I do teams per se. So
true. So let's talk about. I know you said how you've told the TikTok people how you got into lacrosse, like you told us earlier about that rock band. That was the Elijah Gash game, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was, and it was just there was so much that happened in that game. It's just it was just my job was on the floor the whole game, honestly.
Right. So before that, though, I believe I've heard you mention in your podcast that you've been on the reserve or something like that. As a person who's here in Georgia, I have no idea or not much knowledge of the indigenous stuff, the Native American stuff. Can you expand on how that has helped you being around that area to like lacrosse even more? Because like I said, I'm a rookie to it all on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so my wife's status native.
Wow.
She's got her status card and everything. Her family, like her my brother-in-law, he was raised on the reservation there. And I always say, I don't know if this is the right words. I always say, I don't know if the res is the right thing, but that's what they all call it, so that's what I call it, right? So
fair enough.
If I'm being inconsiderate, it is what it is, I guess. But that's what everyone calls it where I'm from. Even everybody all my friends and stuff grew up, right? It's the res.
Right.
So anyway, I went out to the ILA this weekend for the first time. It's just technically off the res. So it's in Hagersville. Amazing experience, completely dedicated for lacrosse. And the crowd was small, so it was super intimate experience. I don't think I'll ever get to have that again because I think this sport's going to boom in the next couple years. And so basically, and then, my wife's cousin, we had lunch with her. She works in the school system, teaching Native culture in the Grand Erie District School Board there for the Catholic side in Brantford. So again, I got to pick her brain a lot. It's just, you get lacrosse. The thing about lacrosse, and I always say the best players in the world come from that area because they were born with a stick. My nephew, he played junior B for a little while, and like that kid had a stick in his hand from the time he could hold it. So,
jeez, I was telling Mackie Jenner yesterday, like if I could just play lacrosse in school instead of dodgeball, I feel like I would have loved the sport automatically.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's such a fun sport. So let's do some NLL season preview stuff, shall we? You got to see the Black Bears play in that game, right? And who was the other team?
Black Bears in Georgia, actually.
So oh wow, was Lyle there, or how many of the start was Jeff T? All of you, how many of them were there?
So I really wasn't when I walked in, I was kind of consumed by the like the whole experience of it. So when I sat down beside somebody. I'm not going to mention his name because he kind of doesn't want me to. I kind of talked to him about this already, but he's a big lacrosse guy. He's in the community, and I was picking his brain. Now he knows a lot about Georgia because he's same thing. He's involved. He grew up playing with some of these guys and all this kind of stuff, and coached them and all that stuff. So he really likes Georgia, but he's just a fan of the sport. But I was like asking him, and Lyle was actually sitting right behind the goal net. Just chilling, right? So I was in shot from him. I'm at the point that I don't know these players too well yet, so I don't want to just go up to them and hey,
my dog Lyle, come on.
Yeah. So anyway, I was kind of debating about it, but this time I didn't. Maybe next time I will. I just kind of again, if I find they're just regular guys at the end of the day. I don't get starstruck in that sense, but at the end of the day, if Lyle's just sitting there chilling, he's the best player in the world. I don't want to go bother him. If my kid was there with me, like I was there without my kid, my kid was there with me, I definitely would have been going up to him because he would have wanted to see.
Well, that's like the. It's easier to also say yes to a kid instead of yes to a grown man. That's a good point. So what did you see from those two teams? I know it's all preseason training camp stuff. What did you like from those teams? Did you see anybody that stood out to you, or goalies or anything?
Yeah, so I mean, Dobbs looks really good in net. He was only in there for a bit. They got rid of they pulled him, and then Georgia basically ended up making a comeback at that point once he was out. Ottawa did. And I really liked. I noticed the size and the speed of Georgia specifically. They're very big. They're very fast. And honestly, I kind of had Georgia at I think I rated them 6 wins this year, but I'm going to do a finalized version anyway because I want to take the whole preseason into consideration. But I honestly, man, they had 9 games that were 1-goal games last year. I think Lyle Thompson's the best player in the world personally. I'll die on that hill, and that's so I have a soft spot for Georgia as well, and also they're the first team to comment on my TikTok, right? So that's always a little bit as well.
Yeah, I told the PR person they're awesome. I like Toronto's, like you said, the same thing. I like when teams. I said before, it's bittersweet that me and you joined it because I joined 2022. You joined last year. Yep. It's bittersweet knowing that this league is not famous because it means that we could kind of jump in. But it's all right, come on, now, let's go. Let's get going. So, have you made your championship pick yet? I know you haven't finalized it. What was your initial feeling?
I mean, right this second, it's hard to go against Vancouver.
Bingo.
Just because of the depth on the team. The only thing is, it's the only thing I'm kind of skeptical on them is they're so good, and a lot of times when you see this in other sports, when a team gets that many players that are so good, it's almost like they get in each other's way. But I don't know if that's going to be the case with Vancouver just because they're so deep. So my early predictions, obviously Vancouver, Buffalo, you can't count out, and then from last season, I think Halifax, I think they're in their window. I think they've all gotten better this offseason. And I think that, I think Warren Hill's going to have a bounce back year. And I think that I believe in Warren Hill. I know a lot of people kind of, have written him off. And I personally think that Halifax is going to be a lot better than everyone gives them credit for.
Like I said, I'll say it again. I know you heard me in the first segment. If Halifax is great this year, that dude's in net all year because it means that he was awesome to start and also to finish. Yep. We'll have to see. Do you have an MVP kind of feeling? Because that's a hard one to predict. I know Jeff T, if he has more assists, is going to be up there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, man, there's so many really top end players. I personally think it's Dyson Williams, Alex Simmons, Ty Kurtz. That trio there is just going to be fantastic this year. They've had their last year kind of with some bumps and bruises. Was really at the bottom of the league until kind of halfway through the season or whatever, that second half of the season. So to be honest, Dyson really seems like a guy that I would say is more of a dark horse. But if you wanted to go with an easy pick, you could either go with Dane, Smith again, depends on how that all goes, or any of those guys from Vancouver,
Yeah, I feel the record might have to matter too. Unless Del Bianco can do the goalie MVP, that'd be wild.
And that's the thing too, right?
Past him.
Yeah, I could see that because he's the best box goalie in the world.
Do you dabble in field lacrosse or not really? I can't stand it.
Yeah, so it's funny. So I tried to start watching the PLL last season because there was nothing else on, obviously, and I just couldn't get into it. Now that I find I follow all these guys and I'm more into it, I understand Field a little bit more. I can watch it. I heard this one saying, and it says Field's like a gentleman's game, and boxes control chaos. And like
I
the
like
way my
that
life,
gentleman's
yeah.
game.
The way my life is, I'm controlled chaos. Like I have 4 kids running around, so I mean I
Ooh,
love box,
4?
but I think yeah, well I have 3 and my niece lives with us too. So
Fair
we have
point.
so
It
we
all
have 4 under
counts.
12 there. And so I love box, but I can understand the the art of Field, and I think this year I'm going to watch a lot more Field because I mean again I'm a big Trey Deer fan. I think he's kind of the next guy,
Ooh.
and he's playing in Syracuse I think this year, so I'm going to have to watch at least them.
Are you close? Like what is the closest arena to you right now, like college or pro?
Oh, it would be Halifax. Right, so
Oh,
I'm in Moncton, New Brunswick, which is about 2.5 hours away from Halifax. And then I've also got like there's a junior A team here in St. John. We're in Moncton. We've got a bid in for a junior B team. So I've already talked to the president of the association there in Moncton, and I'm hoping to be able to do like some interviews because the thing with the East Coast, I asked like the president here, I'm like, where do these guys go after junior A? And they don't really go anywhere because there's missing link. There are a few guys that have gone on. Usually they play here, then they go to Ontario, and then they go from there. But I would like to be that. I would like to be that connector if I can get connected with some scouts or something. And then if I see somebody that I really like, I can just be like, "Yo, man, you got to check this guy out and send him some footage." Right?
Yeah, I was talking to Chris Fox, I believe last week last week. He does a lot of CLL stuff, but
Yep.
We were talking about like the farm system. Like it's so, I think again, like I get like there's like some good like leagues up there in Canada. I do think 20 years from now we're gonna want a general farm system. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm hoping that once we get these financial settled, you obviously hope the league takes a big step. I'm hoping guys have an avenue to where if teams are looking, you know you're good or you're not, and then we'll figure it out from there. But you shouldn't have to beg. No other league you have to beg your way to get into a league. That's just stupid, in my opinion. It's sad.
Yeah, so I think personally the best way, and like the especially with the CBA this offseason, but one of the biggest things was like, oh, we're not making money. A lot of these teams aren't making money, which that's to be said or not because they don't release numbers. But what I will say is if we were to move this league, and that's what I said before I even really got involved or just started to get involved, why is this not being played, first off, normal box season, but over the summer where hockey's almost done or maybe the playoffs are on, where it's like you're still watching hockey, but then you can fill that other space with lacrosse games, get them playing, get the PLL to push back if they want to, you're gonna have to have some kind of coordination with these two leagues. Get the PLL to push back, so they can play in the southern states, so it doesn't matter about weather. You play that over winter. Then you have the NLL playing over that thing, and then you have the MSL and the WLA turn to those feeder leagues. Which I mean, technically, in my opinion, as much as like I love the Chiefs, I think that those guys, it's special to play for that team.
Sure.
Whether that means maybe giving their owner, I know it's technically an ownership group, but maybe looking at getting them an NLL team so all those guys have a place to go play. I'm not really sure if that's already Halifax with Steyrs kind of. But I do think that that's the future of the league if you want to talk about a full-time, and that's the thing when a lot of people say, oh, well, they have to play other jobs or have other jobs. I'm talking when they're full-time and this is their full-time gig. They play their fucking 4 or 5 months and that's it,
Yeah, like again, like NCAA like is great and all, but it's field. To be honest, we saw Peyton Cormier, who still was really trying hard. I think he can take a step, but he was really awesome in college and has not been great in the NLL so far. But then you look at Brandon O'Neill, you have to have a system of box, and it is what it is. What are you looking forward to this NLL season? Just whether it be teams or like storylines, what are you excited for? Or just the league to grow?
Yeah, so basically what I'd like to see is obviously I'm just excited to see the games in general. I think it's going to be a lot more even of a league this year. Usually you really had Buffalo and Saskatchewan kind of running the show last year, and I don't think it's going to be like that. I think you're going to have 5, maybe 6 teams that are in that contention. Depends on how every game goes. And what I love about this game, I do think that we need more games, and that's just obviously, again, with money and all that stuff. But I do love what this league is like. There's any team can beat any team on any given night. It's not like that in other sports.
Yeah, I like that. Any parting or any teasers for anything lax or Or is that pretty
Yeah,
much?
man, I always got something cooking. I'll tell you that.
Woo!
I've got I'm working. I've had a couple of people, like, I just made this merch for myself, kind of.
I was
And
wanting to ask you if there's a
yeah,
show coming.
yeah. So there is a shop coming. I've just
Yeah.
kind of, it's kind of in the works. It's on the. I also have a job, unfortunately. Still, I'm hoping to make
I
this
hate
full
it.
time
Yep.
eventually, right?
Yep.
But so I'm putting as much time. I put more time into this than I do my regular job. I've also got a fantasy league coming. So basically, there again, this is another thing that's missing in this community.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is essentially, I don't have the exact numbers or the exact structure. I'm going to be working on that this week. But essentially, what it's going to be is, let's say, if there's 8 guys in the league or interested, then I'll make one league where it's just you pick a team and that you follow those teams. Let's say you'll have maybe 10 guys per team. You can only have a max of 180 games per season played, right? So that, because it gets difficult, because you'll have a team not play for 3 weeks. So if you have a player on that team, it's hard to get points. You can't do week to week, head to head matchups like you can in the NFL. So if you do a whole season thing where it's just a point system, then you can still drop players, you can still trade players, but you only have 180 games or whatever that number is going to be per game, right? So that's kind of the vision I see and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm all for it. Like I know like we've had like some fantasy stuff before, but I'm very excited. Like again, like you've had a lot of the Discord's a great idea. I'm not a Discord guy, but I definitely am like trying to help like plug whatever you have. But keep on doing what you're doing, man. Again, we need more people like us, man. Let's keep on. Anybody who wants to do a podcast, keep doing it, man. We got to talk about the sport more.
Yeah, absolutely. And just get on your phone and just start posting. Like, consistency is key. That's the big thing. And I think people get discouraged right away, or I don't have the equipment, and just get in there and just start posting. Like you'll gain some fans, and everyone's got a unique perspective.
And you said, what was it, 2 TikTok posts a day? Okay, I'm making sure.
Yeah, 2 TikTok, 2 to 3 TikToks a day. I do follow a couple of TikTok coaches and stuff like that. So I try to consume things that are going to be beneficial. So
the algorithm, I think, loves you for the 2 a day. But thank you, Jake. Get back to what you were doing, but thank you for taking time on the show. We'll obviously have you on again because I think more opinions is obviously a better thing for the league. But you keep crushing it, man. And we'll definitely see you again, man.
All right, thanks, buddy, and keep doing what you're doing. You do an amazing thing. I love watching your content as well.
Thank you. See, that's awesome. All right, guys. Jake MacDonald, everybody. Hey, listen, I was not expecting that at the end, honestly. But that was fun. Again, it's hard, like he said, but this league is so good. And if you're a fan of the league, just talk about it. Even if you think you're not good in front of the camera, this guy literally was, like he said, sporadic on social media and then jumped on it. And look what it's become. He's got a lot of followers, man. Got a lot of followers and a lot of conversation. Like CLL said earlier, he's got more engagement than a lot of leagues. Bingo! Because he actually cares about the fans. Who knew?